Please join us in singing hymn 311 in your gray hymnal, Let It Be a Dance. Good morning, everyone. It's lovely to see you all. My name is Amanda Kruger, and I serve as treasurer of the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. Welcome to this sacred space. We are glad you're here. At UUCS, we strive to be a beloved community of warmth, love, and support across all of our differences. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as we each are. If you are visiting with us this morning, we would love to meet you. Visitor cards may be found in the pocket on the back of the chair in front of you. Please feel free to fill one out and place it in the offering plate during the service so that we can connect with you. There's always a lot going on in the life of this congregation, so find the February Connect in the lobby. Look through the one-page weekly calendar in your order of service, and always check your weekly happenings. Today is the fourth Sunday of the month, which means everyone is invited to our fourth Sunday lunch bunch. We have a wonderful tradition of going out to lunch together after church. There's no need to rush out after church. Get there when you can and find us. All are welcome. Today we will head to Maharaja Indian Restaurant at 464 East Main Street. They have an Indian lunch buffet. Proud Mary presents Skin Tight from February 28th through March 8th here at UUCS downstairs in Wild Hall. The Proud Mary Theater Company presents Skin Tight, a comedic drama that explores the nature of love, both carnal and familial, the power of attraction, and the ways in which a superficial culture persists in teaching its children that all that matters is what's inside. Skin Tight is as painful as it is funny. It is a wonderfully moving evening of theater. Get your tickets now with a link in our weekly happenings or by visiting proudmarytheater.com. And join the SCUU Justice Alliance Banned Book Read of All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson on February 24th and March 3rd from 7 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. And see the QR code in the happenings to register. Next Sunday, March 1st at 4 p.m. here in the UUCS Sanctuary, we will host our monthly progressive Christian service in collaboration with the United Church of Christ and Reverend Mariana Harrelson. Sydney McMath, Davlin Athena, and Faith Taylor will join Reverend Harrelson in leading us. All are welcome. These are kind, open, welcoming, and affirming services in the Christian tradition, parallel to our monthly humanist meeting on the second Wednesday evening of each month and our regular pagan circles throughout the seasons of the year. Thank you all for all that you do to make this place one of love, warmth, and welcome for all. And now I'd like to invite forward Denise Levereau to speak with us about the progress we've made with our Mission Vision Covenant Mission Objective 3, strengthening our interconnectedness through how we communicate with each other and work together. And following Denise, Scott Neely will come forward to share with us an annual fund update.
I'm still short. Every time I come up here, it's like, I'm still short. Good morning, guys. I'm Denise Levereau, and I am your cheerleader for Mission Objective 3, which is strengthen our interconnectedness through how we communicate with each other and work together. I'm going to give you a brief update because we have lots of things to cover today. But this mission objective is, I sat down with Ann last Monday and had a meeting and kind of planning what we're going to work on for the next fiscal year. And as we looked back, we realized this may be the mission objective that we have actually worked the most on over the last year. And the fact that you're going to question me. Oh, no. I'm not trying to minimize anybody else's work. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this one has become so much of the fiber of what we do that it's happening almost without us realizing. We want to be more effective in our communication, in our interconnectedness through communication and alignment throughout the congregation and between committees. I have started going to Council of Committees, and I have been listening. What does everybody do? How do they communicate? What are their communication needs? We have strengthened staff and volunteer partnerships for effective committees to get stuff done. One of those can be the work that Ann and I do on the happenings, the connect, the how we are communicating to you guys. We are also supporting a healthy staff. We are making sure all of our work occurs in a safe, healing, and equitable environment. We're continuing talkbacks. We are asking for feedback. If you have something about how we're communicating with you or you have an idea, let me know. We are looking at the purpose and the effectiveness of our website and all of the other ways we communicate with you. We want you to know what we're doing, because if you know what we're doing, you are more part of the community, and then we can achieve bigger things together. We also want the wider world to know what we are doing in a way that is not bragging or proselytizing or anything like that. But we want them to know because we're here, and we do amazing things. And we need, in this world, in this atmosphere, we need people to know that we're here and we're doing awesome things. Does that make sense? Okay. In the next year, we are going to look at how we can streamline communication, how we can increase our reach and growth through the communications that we have. We're also going to look at how do we make this message run in the background of our purpose, because the key to a good communications campaign is that it doesn't feel like TV ads. You know, you're watching a show and a TV ad comes on and suddenly it's louder and bigger and you're kind of recoiling. When we are working our purpose and we are communicating our purpose, those two things happen seamlessly. And that is what I am working for with you guys. Before we can communicate, we have to listen. So that is what I am doing going into this fiscal year, is I am listening to what you are saying. I am observing how we are working and how we can improve that. Okay? Short, sweet, to the point. Have a wonderful morning.
Denise and Ann and Robin Carter, before them, working with them, have truly done an outstanding job with this very quiet but very important and very effective mission objective. And I would like to ask us to give them a round of applause for the very dedicated work they've been doing. My name is not Mary Underwood, and I'm not supposed to be here today, but I'm very glad to be here, although I'm very sad that Mary is sick and not able to be here. This has been a strange month of snow days and a super abundance in our services, and I've had 2 sermons planned that I haven't been able to preach. So I'm so glad to be at the microphone with you now. I want to just share a brief update about the annual fund and a little bit of framing about this year's campaign. First, I just want to say thank you to everyone. The way that we work with money in this congregation, because money can get really weird really fast, is to just be transparent about it, just to talk about it honestly as fuel that we put in our tank, but not as our purpose. Our purpose is to drive that car and to go somewhere, and the fuel helps us do it. But even without any fuel in the tank, we would walk to where we needed to go. I am, however, glad for the car and glad for the fuel. As of this week, our annual fund campaign has arrived at $167,874, which represents intents to give from 59 households. As you can see on the display next to us, that puts us over the halfway mark in our goal. And I would like to ask you to give yourselves a round of applause for what you have done. Our goal for this campaign is $300,000, representing intents to give from 150 households, which is to say that we have exceeded half of our goal with 1/3 of the households that we project will pledge. And this means that only 1/3 of our expected givers have already carried us more than half of the way. This is exceptional. You all have done an outstanding job. And this level is a challenge for all of us who still need to turn in our intent to pledge cards to please do so that we can meet our fellow congregants who have already taken us so far to go the full distance. The goal that we have set for this year, $300,000 in intent to give, is a big goal. It is a big jump for us as a congregation. But I want to explain how we arrived at this goal. Mathematically, in our congregation, if everyone who pledged last year pledged at exactly the same amount, and of all the folks who have joined in the last year, if only half of those people, only half of them, pledged at the average pledge for our congregation, which is $2,000 a year on average, then we would meet this goal. Everybody who already pledges at the same level from last year, and of everybody that's joined, only half of them pledging at the average, we would meet this goal of $300,000. Which is to say that this is not a pie-in-the-sky goal. It is mathematically considered, is strategic, and it's very achievable if we all just do our part. Whether we give at the average or above or below, that is really irrelevant. That is just a way to track numbers. What matters is that we all bring to this effort what we each can. And I do want to ask that of you, that you just bring what you can. But that's not the point. The point is our purpose. Numbers and math and money is all third-level stuff. It's useful and it's helpful, and we work with it. We talk about it. But it is not the point. Our point is written on the front of your bulletin. You can see it right above the beautiful picture of Marlanda when she was 6. It's the statement of purpose that our congregation crafted, which is that we seek the mutual thriving of all beings. Mutual thriving of all. Every religion, every orientation, every gender, every national origin, every kind of way that we each are, and all the trees and living things around us too, this beautiful ecosystem of this earth. Our purpose is for everybody to thrive. And when each of us contributes what we can, however big or small it may seem, what we are doing is giving life. Not just for ourselves, not just for our staff, not just for this building, not just for our programs, but for the life of each one of us and the circles and circles that we are connected with beyond this place. We are here for everyone's thriving. And we just ask that you join us in that effort. I want to invite Ruth Stanton to share why she takes part in this campaign.
When Mary Underwood asked me to speak about why I give to UUCS, I thought, why do I? Okay. Coming to UUCS was a long journey for me. I was born a missionary kid and grew up in Pakistan. And even in grade school, I had a troubled feeling that traditional Christianity didn't quite answer all my questions and fit who I was. The first time I really felt at home was crossing the doors of the Unitarian Universalist Church in Greenville. No one shunned me for being divorced. Now, this was a long time ago, and that was a thing for sure. And these UUs shared my belief that every person is worthy of inclusion and love, just as they are, no matter their religion, their ethnicity, their race, their social status, or who they love. And as a bonus, Rick Honenberg and I found each other there at that church, and we got married. When we moved to Spartanburg in 1994, so that's a minute ago, Rick and I tried a couple of churches, but when we came to UUCS, we knew we were at home again. This is where my people are. The church was smallish then, and we fit easily into the fellowship hall on Sunday mornings for services. But this church has a message to share and is an oasis of acceptance. And so it's continued to grow. The vision and generosity of all its members, both early on and all the way to us here now, has allowed us to grow from a lay-led church to having our team of wonderful ministers and staff, and to grow from a small church meeting in a house to one where we enjoy our beautiful sanctuary and have space for other ministries too. Before I arrived, pioneering folks in this church stood up for civil rights in various ways. Rick and I were part of the deliberate steps to become a welcoming church for LGBTQ+ people. We aren't done with our work yet. We have our emphasis on consciousness, which I interpret as considering how to think and move to make our world a better place for all. We are championing voting rights, acting as neighbors in our community, supporting immigrants, and caring for our environment too. I worked 28 years in a local hospital as a nurse midwife. It was fun, it was rewarding. And even though I worked among good people doing good things, I usually felt like I had to wall off part of me to fit in. Here is where I can be me. It's both a relief and a great joy. I can dance here and I can fly here. I want this church to continue to have room for everybody who needs us and to continue to be a leader in our community. And that's why I give to UUCS.
Good morning. My name is Margaret Schmidt. I am a long-term member of the congregation, and I want to extend my greetings to everyone, in addition to the greetings you already heard. And hi, I don't know where the camera is, but hi, virtual folks. I hope you're with us today. We have a lovely program planned. For lighting the chalice, we have a reading by Howard Thurman from Meditations of the Heart. How good it is to center down, to sit quietly and see oneself pass by. The streets of our minds seethe with endless traffic. Our spirits resound with clashings, with noisy silences, while something deep within hungers and thirsts for the still moment and the resting lull. The questions persist. What are we doing with our lives? What are the motives that order our days? What is the end of our doings? Where are we trying to go? For the questions beat in upon the waiting moment. As we listen, floating up through all the jangling echoes of our turbulence, there is a sound of another kind, a deeper note which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. It moves directly to the core of our being. Our questions are answered, our spirits refreshed, and we move back into the traffic of our daily round. With the peace of the eternal in our step, how good it is to center down. I'd like you all to join me now in singing hymn number 53, I Walk the Unfrequented Road.
I walk the unfrequented road
One of our beloved traditions is the Rippling Bowl, where we come each week to share a stone or a shell that would represent a joy or sorrow in your life. And I will place a shell and a stone for those of you who are joining us virtually. Please come up.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. See clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Yes, I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
That song always makes me feel happy. As a young adult, I realized that the creed I had been repeating each week in the church of my youth no longer reflected my beliefs. I've heard strangers say, "Oh, that's the place where you can believe anything." I'm not a confrontational person, but in my mind and heart, I hear our congregational covenant as a response to these uninformed people. Our congregation drafted it a few years ago. The words are printed in your order of service and below the live stream if you are joining us virtually. Please join me now in repeating our church covenant. With courage we say, we are people of faith and hope. Together we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, to supplement this with the power of a love beyond belief. One of our more upbeat traditions is to greet each other. And to do this, we hop up or sit in our seats and wander around and say hello to those we haven't seen in a while or welcome new folks. As you do this, please be respectful of their personal space. If a person looks like they don't care to be hugged or greeted, please honor that. So as I believe it was Ruth who coined this phrase, let the holy chaos begin. Ooh, we were a chatty bunch today. Now is the time in our service where we give back to our community. We do our donations with giving our time, our treasure, and our talents. And now is the time where we would like to collect some treasure. I didn't mean for that to be funny. One of the things we do with our generosity is share the plate. This month, we are sharing the plate with Favor Upstate, a community that provides support and assistance to individuals and families affected by substance abuse disorders. Favor Upstate exists so that everyone in the Upstate has a fighting chance at recovery. What we do is undesignated donations in the plate are split half and half between the congregation and the Share the Plate recipient. So the ushers will come forward now.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Sing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smiling with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Ooh, ooh. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smiling with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Ooh, ooh. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
It's my great honor to introduce Marlanda Dekine to you as today's speaker. Every month I drive down to Georgetown County, often just for a 24-hour cycle visit. And I go to join Marlanda in work that she has been developing and building there for the past 3 years, convening conversations of folks all across Georgetown County, 40, 50, 70, 100 folks gathered in a room at a time for about 2 hours to talk about what it is like to try to live together when there's so much that divides us and separates us. Things like violence in our communities. Things like bridges that should connect us that instead divide us. Things like poverty and racism and our very divided narratives about what our history is and how we all got here to begin with. And the weird thing about these conversations is that people come in super nervous. How are we going to sit with each other and talk about this stuff? And they leave ecstatic. Talking, hugging, joking, making meetings, going out for drinks. It's like watching magic woven through people. I met Marlanda 15 years ago. I was invited to speak at an academic conference here in Spartanburg. It was a day-long event with lecturers brought in from all across the country, people who were nationally recognized experts in their field, and they would talk for a full hour with heavily annotated PowerPoint presentations, sharing all kinds of information to a room full of 450 professionals. It was a conference on preventing and addressing child abuse. And so it was a room not only of academics, but also of public safety officers, lawyers, prosecutors, social workers, forensic interviewers, all kinds of folks who work with kids to deal with this truly terrible phenomenon, which is so prevalent in our own culture and here in Spartanburg. I spoke at that conference, and I did a great job. And so did everybody for their hour-long presentations. But in the middle of the conference, this woman stood up. And she only spoke for 3 minutes. And she didn't have a PowerPoint presentation. And she didn't have footnotes. She was a forensic interviewer who worked with children who had suffered abuse at our local Children's Advocacy Center. And she offered a spoken word poem about what it is like to work with one of those kids. And I watched this room of people with so much standing and prestige, so much professional responsibility, people walking back and forth to get their bagels and their coffee all day long. I watched this room of 450 people stop and turn to listen. The whole room still to hear this woman's voice and the power of her poem, unlike any other way that they listened that day. Out of that work, 6 months of conversation with Marlanda ensued. What was that and how did that happen? And out of that, we began to develop a format for convening community conversations where people could gather to talk about really hard things with spoken word poetry pushing us forward and well-facilitated dialogue taking us very deep. 15 years later, not just one organization, Speaking Down Barriers, was born of that effort, but 4 different community convening organizations have blossomed out of that effort, and more than 500 dialogues across our country have taken place. And last night, the most recent one happened at Converse, where Marlanda offered an hour of poetry combined with dance and music, where even the ASL interpreters were part of the artistry and beauty of what was shared. And at the very end, she invited those gathered, that audience of 70 or 80 folks, to just enter into a discussion with her. And she asked what it is we dream of bringing into the world, what it is that we hope for. And people began to call out hope, love, peace, beauty. A poem evoked from people who had come to hear. And that's what you need to be careful about with Marlanda. Because when she speaks and we listen, she calls something out of us too.
Good morning. You join me in a moment of silence. If you're comfortable, please close your eyes. If you're not comfortable with your eyes closed, find somewhere to focus in the room. And take a deep breath in. And as comfortable as you are, allow that breath to let out through your mouth. And breathe in. Let it out when you're ready. Breathe. Finding your own rhythm. In and out. Breathe in. Let it out. In. Out. I want you to bring to mind the land and the water around where you grew up. Bring to mind, as you breathe, the land and the water around where you grew up. Can't get it wrong. Just breathe. Look around. What colors do you see? What do you hear, feel? And if you can, I want you to look at yourself as a child. Doesn't matter how old you are, could be even now. Study your face. Your eyes. Keep breathing. I want you to place your hand on your heart. Keep breathing, looking around, looking at that face. Thank yourself and all who you want to thank for bringing you to this day. Thank your heart for beating for you. Wave to your child self. You'll be back. Take one deep breath in. Let it out, just moving your toes, and come back whenever you feel ready. I have to start with my favorite poet, What Makes You Come Alive? A poem by Mary Oliver called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. I want to thank you all for having me today. I want you to know that I tune in on Sundays with my wife and my cat, and we get very cozy with coffee, and we spend time with you in Georgetown, South Carolina. Happy to be with you today. Now my poems, because they make me come alive. Memory poem. I am a child of wonder again, and rain tells me to watch for snails and slugs. I gather dirt, sand, and sticks for the terrarium, where I make a safe home away from footsteps, fast cars, and ditch water. I don't want them to die, so I make them a space for living. I ask Mama to buy lettuce because in the book I got from the library, I learned they will eat lettuce. I am greedy to learn everything and what keeps it all alive. Their spiral shapes leave shiny trails behind. I imagine I am a snail leaving magic everywhere I go. This next poem I have never read aloud. Here we go. Interbeing. Thich Nhat Hanh, Scott introduced me to the work of Thich Nhat Hanh, and I love interbeing. I forget the boy I loved did not like my face, but loved my purple hair barrettes, baubles my ma gently placed, so I'd click with the cosmos of afros, straightening combed and relaxed hair, from which I descended, a long line of mamas, shaping a world to hold our curls and braids. I made music when I ran at recess, clacking with bird songs, a star rhythm chasing the boy I wanted to follow behind the gym where we could become cardinals with our fingers. Then we'd go to the blacktop and shoot our hands in the shape of guns. I liked lying on the concrete with him, naming clouds. Each one was precious. In my composition book, Carlos, Alex, Willie. In second grade, Josh died. The entire village wept. Constellations poured dimly into our red brick church. He became the heartbreaker grown-ups said he would. I learned the rapture was coming, and my first angel, an entire galaxy, glowed through stained glass. Born again. When afraid I was going to hell, I watched girls at bath time desiring more than I could say. I needed my hands always praying because the preacher said, the elders said, my mama said, I might not have tried to be good for Jesus like they told me had I paid more attention to tight clusters of red clover spreading across our fields only to be burned next week. I might have listened to their roots down deep, connecting to some never-dying wildness. No one in South Carolina made me feel possible. I followed a clumsy green feeling inside my body all these years. My broken heart reached for flames to smoke me out of myself. I slowly emerged, arms first through blood and gut, holding milky stems of yellow dandelion in my teeth. On this elderly field, I stood barefoot and bright. Amen. Jesus said, amen, just before I began to speak. Y'all all right? All right. Spellbound. About God's business. For some, I have stood in the pulpit as a committed sinner. For some, I have stood in the pulpit looking like freedom. For none of us does it matter who I love, only how deeply I allow love in. Thresh and hold. Flooding in now, I rest, so I can harvest new worlds, a ready net so still. Without rest, I cannot hear my grandma Lizzie and my grandma Thelma. Without rest, I cannot hear my Aunt Carolyn composing for her Lord. I cannot hear my Aunt Angie cussing angels while guiding me across memoried waters. I am learning what real power is. Years ago, I wouldn't have felt bright red, black, green chords of spirit calling. Women in my family have dropped dead one day, and the family kept right on working. I rest like I have tomorrows growing on a vine outside. I rest like a horned owl. My ancestors turned into machines by rice is booming in Georgetown, sale extravaganza. I rest beneath my grandma Lizzie's oil-dressed magnolia painted white and green at the trunk. I risk surrender to her dark sachet. West Africa caught my granddaddy Silas by the brain. Here's a cosmos I picked from his field of grasses. I say women in my family have dropped dead one day, purple gowned and waiting for us in the next. I've been listening to Howard Thurman a lot, so I'm a little bit, someone mentioned spellbound. I'm in a world of Howard Thurman's thoughts. Wrong or right, that's where I'm at. and the idea of mysticism and being with what feels the most real is very fascinating to me. And for me, poetry feels the most real. Wild violets. Look for me on your walk in any Carolina woods. I wrote to you from memory into a future where you exist. Someday you will want a relic from someone who has lived our kind of life. We were queer here in the South and everywhere in the world. When rustling pine cones fall at seasons change, we are there in the tree's bough, curling edges of straw outward like a cat's ear. We hear you coming before we know you. We go deep and way back. We love fierce. Someone could yell in our face for hours about hell. We'd lean back in our seats and rest for a spell anyway. Anyway, some will say hate was worse in the South. Our heritage is beyond queer. Some will lie about what is on the other side of their need for somewhere worthy of our arrival. You will not be greeted with open arms. You will hold yourself and play God, cue angels to dance when you enter rooms. If they don't tell you about us, listen to the wind. Search the ground. We have always been here, signaling in the purple spread of wild violets. Wild things, lots of wild. My breath waited for me to stop, and I listened to her while visiting a tree in my mind and the cosmos inside of the tree. I remembered that if I forget the tree, I forget myself. Wouldn't our government like it if I forgot who and what I am connected to? I come from an interdependent web of life, resisting through a thistle shout, a tree crown uprising into the blue sky, ants migrating to make a new home, and the fog resting now over the back roads. An infrastructure that does not know my name is breathing, is here, and we are the wild things that shall strangle it. Sun and stars, I see hope, moments of organizing and strength and power and gratitude. I ask myself, what if who we are is already inside? How much fear do we overcome before we show up? The sun and stars burst through clouds, risking all to shed light. And who are we that we don't? Thank you all. Thank you so much.
If you, in the past 15 minutes, felt the urge to speak, sing, or shout, to make a joyful noise, the next thing we have for you is an old song, a song you probably know, and a song very easy to make a joyful noise to. Please join us in hymn number 29, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee.
Well, unfortunately, our flame went out during the service, but we had so much inspiration, I felt the flame all around us, even though the representation was not here. So for our closing reading, we have a quote by Howard Thurman. "Don't ask what the world needs, Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because the world needs is people who have come alive. Thank you.
Deep breath in. And a breath out. As we enter this week, may we be guided by courage and what makes us come alive. And may we go do the very things that give us life.